Okay, good afternoon, everybody. Thanks for coming this afternoon. I know we're the last presentation of the day. It's a tough slot, but we will keep this to a handful of slides, and Mike's going to also do a demo. My name is Jim Lampert. I head up North American sales for OpsRamp. We are part of HPE. Mike, you want to introduce yourself?
Sure. My name is Michael Friedhoff. I am a principal solutions architect with HPE OpsRamp, and very happy to be here with you today to give you this presentation.
Awesome. Thanks, Mike. So again, thanks everybody for showing up here at the end of the day. I know you've all had a long day, so thank you for showing up. OpsRamp delivers AI-driven IT operations and hybrid observability. The slides that you're going to see that follow this and Mike's demo will show you exactly how we do that. Mike, you want to talk about just the overall value proposition that we have with GreenLake? You want me to build this out?
Yeah, please. That would be great. So really the key thing here that we're illustrating here,
Mike, hang on one second. Can we go back to the slide? When he talks, it transfers to him.
Oh, lose the slide?
Here you go.
Okay, that's right. The slide's much prettier than I am anyway. So what we're really illustrating here is that OpsRamp does fall under the HPE GreenLake umbrella from a product and marketing standpoint and all of that. And what's critical, though, is that strategically, OpsRamp is vendor agnostic in terms of all of the technologies on-prem and in the cloud and hybrid that it can manage and monitor and provide observability and AI ops for. So that is going to continue to be the case. Obviously, we're going to be really good at monitoring HPE things since we have that access there internally. But we've always been very strong in the concept of focusing on multi-vendor, very diverse hybrid environments with support for all vendors.
Okay. Anything else, Mike, on this slide?
So the other element is that we do cover all of the components of your stack. So whether it's your traditional on-prem infrastructure that's network storage, VMware running on-prem, as well as anything that you're running in any of the major cloud providers or running in containerized workloads like Kubernetes. We have complete discovery, visibility, instrumentation, and AI ops capability for all of those as well, as we'll show you.
Great, thanks, Mike. So we believe the combination of HPE and OpsRamp is a very powerful combination. It actually dates back to 2019 when HPE first became a customer of OpsRamp. And so since that time, we've been working very closely with the GreenLake engineering team to really implement and integrate the OpsRamp technology into the many different layers of GreenLake. Today, we're going to talk about this first layer, the standalone SaaS offering. But as you can see here on this slide, the technology itself is embedded in many components of GreenLake. Mike, is there anything that you wanted to add to this?
Yeah, so a really great element of this is that, absolutely we come as a standalone SaaS product that can go through OpsRamp paper or HPE paper, but at the same time, we are able to initially provide that visibility for the HPE equipment if you want just a taste of it, if you've brought that in as a part of GreenLake or one of the other offerings. But then you can extend that visibility to your entire diverse estate of technology.
Great. Thanks, Mike. I'm not going to read this to you. You can read it, but the one point I want to highlight here is the combination of HPE and OpsRamp really opens up a new $39 billion IT operations management market for HPE. We're very excited about attacking that opportunity with HPE. Mike, do you want to talk about some of the challenges that we saw our customers have and what's kind of the impetus to developing the platform?
Sure. So, there's an awful lot of diversity and variation in most customer environments in terms of the different kinds of technologies that are in the mix, right? There's going to be your on-premise different network solutions, your different server technologies that may have changed from one standard to another over time, but there's different footprints of previous standards still in place that maybe haven't cycled out completely yet. There's the different virtualization technologies, the different app presentation technologies, the different databases, web servers, app servers, all of those things, and of course, all of the different sorts of the underlying hardware beneath all of that at the network, storage, and server layers, right? So there's a lot to keep track of, and there's a lot to know how to manage and how to maintain visibility of. So OpsRamp provides that visibility into all of those traditional on-prem components so that you don't have siloed visibility of your technology estate and of your business applications, but you have a unified view of all of that. We then extend that same capability and visibility and observability into your multi-cloud and hybrid workloads, whether they're running in Azure, AWS, or GCP, or in managed or on-prem Kubernetes or containerized solutions. So we're able to discover all of that, provide an inventory of your estate, understand the connections and the topology relationships between all of those items at a network layer, at a cloud native layer, at a virtualization layer, how they interact with each other, so that you've got that complete picture of the entire technology estate, because it just gets bigger and more complex over time. And as a result of that, there's always been a challenge of that complete visibility, right? There's been a lack of visibility. We've been forced many times to be in a reactive mode instead of a proactive mode. And it gets expensive to manage all of that and to maintain an understanding of how to manage and have the visibility of all of that.
Okay, Mike, next slide, talking about the challenges, how they compounded with shared services.
Yeah, absolutely. So if you're in the MSP business, you actually have a greater challenge here, right? Because it's essentially the previous slide multiplied by however many clients you have. Over time, you're probably trying to get them all onto consistent standards based on what your primary approach is. But very often we have to, as MSPs, take on clients where they are at when that initial contract is signed. And so there may be some interesting technologies in the mix that are not commonly part of your portfolio, or that are just more challenging to get that visibility and to manage. And so not only do we cover all of that diversity for you with baked in knowledge of how to discover, how to recognize the relationships, how to monitor them, how to correlate them, but we also, in the case of MSPs, which is very important, provide a native multi-tenancy capability as part of the platform innately that works really well in shared services types of environments.
Great. So, with the challenges as a backdrop, we believe it's a new model is needed. That new model must deliver centralized management, hybrid observability, intelligent automation, service-centric AIOps, scalability, and reliability. So the slides that'll follow this, Mike's going to get into the platform a little bit, and he's going to get into the demo that'll show you a platform that delivers all of this. So let's get into, Mike, the platform before I turn it over to here. We're just going to cover really three things that we're seeing our customers are finding with the platform. First, in order to help you innovate more and compete better, giving you the opportunity to simplify your operations with a centralized command center is critically important to our customers. Optimizing performance of your team's infrastructure and services, allowing your teams to be proactive versus reactive is critically important. And automate processes from discovery through to remediation, eliminating a lot of that human element that brings in so much risk into our IT operations model.
Yeah. And this is really what it's all about, right? Because at the end of the day, you're trying to reduce the volume of tickets that you have to handle while still maintaining the availability of the environment and the visibility of the environment. And so through multiple steps in our platform, we're able to do that for you. So
go ahead, Mike. Yep.
Want to take this one, Jim?
Nope, you got it.
Okay. So the key thing is that we are a SaaS-based platform born in the cloud, and all in one platform without having to integrate all the different tools that do these different pieces. We have the key elements that you need to accomplish this, right? The first is that we provide multi-cloud and data center hybrid discovery and observability monitoring and metrics of your environment, right? So we're reaching out and we're discovering and finding all of those things that are a part of your estate. And then we know what are the metrics to monitor on those. We're also capable of receiving telemetry and observability data from other sources as well, like logs and traces, as well as your more conventional agent-based monitoring, SNMP, and things like that. So it provides a very robust set of metrics across many, many technologies that our content team has spent a lot of time building out so that you don't have to. Next, we take that and based on the metrics, logs, and traces that are from our observability data, and maybe third-party data that we're also pulling into the product, which we can do very easily, we're generating events and alerts, and we pull that into a normalized database of alerts. And we have an AIOps correlation engine that uses machine learning in order to understand the co-occurring sequences of alerts that are innate in the alert flow data that we see from your environment. So every so often, our machine learning model will train on the alerts that have come on your environment. It'll learn the patterns that are innate in your environment, and based on that, automatically be able to correlate them so that instead of a wall of 50 red alerts, you have maybe 1 or 2 alerts that are associated with 1 or 2 actual root cause phenomena that caused that in the first place. And then finally, on top of all of that, where we may be doing a lot of that kind of correlation, we have an intelligent automation capability in the platform. It's a robust process automation engine that can be used to automatically resolve different kinds of issues that are occurring by running scripts, by running Ansible playbooks, by running Python, PowerShell, shell scripts on any machine or device that we are managing. And in cases where maybe that doesn't provide a solution, we can also annotate or enrich the alert and the tickets that we generate in your ITSM platform with additional diagnostic information that's going to save your technicians time and steps and get you to a faster resolution, right? So we have additional places in the product that I'll show you where we use machine learning as a part of a larger, robust AI ops approach to cut through the noise and minimize the alerts and incidents that you actually have to have humans handle as opposed to automating or correlating away.
Great.
So,
Mike, did you want me to move on to the next slide?
Yeah.
Build this out?
You can jump to the next one.
Okay. Go ahead.
Okay. So at the end of the day, the 3 pillars of this here are the hybrid observability, right, which we accomplish through agent-based and agentless discovery through all the different protocols that are out there, again, so that you don't have to be an expert on them and you don't have to be an expert on 20 different monitoring tools. We provide clear visibility on all of that. So in addition to monitoring it, we provide very simple, clear dashboarding capability that's drag and drop. Or you can also just point Grafana at us if you really like Grafana and you have things that you're doing there today. You can point it at us natively. We have out-of-the-box monitoring templates that already know what are the right metrics to monitor and what are the suggested thresholds that are sane defaults for these things. And we generate alerts. We're able to light up service maps that represent the business services in your environment. And we've got a query language across the entire platform that lets you search and slice and dice across all of the inventory resources, the alerts, the metrics, and all the different pieces of that puzzle. We take that, we provide on the right-hand side all of those AI ops capabilities that we talked about, as well as the automation. So the correlation, we can do seasonality detection and suppression based on things that always happen at the same time of the day or a certain time in the week based on patterns in your environment. And we integrate seamlessly with your ITSM platform. We do have our own lightweight ITSM platform baked into the system, but most customers, they have a separate strategic ITSM platform, and we integrate with all of them very easily out of the box, like your ServiceNow and Zendesk and things like that. And so we take the entire cycle from the discovery all the way to the resolution of the issues that occurred in your environment, and we move you up that maturity curve to the point now where instead of being reactive, you're proactive and you're automated.
I'll build this out, Mike. I think if we can cover this quickly, and then we'll get into the integrations and then the demo.
Sure. So this is really just highlighting and visualizing how we apply multiple layers, much the way a data scientist has a data pipeline. We have an alert pipeline, and we have certain objectives that we optimize for when we do that, right? So we have all of our native instrumentation that comes from our monitors, logs, and traces that we're instrumenting your environment with. And we can also ingest metrics and alerts from third-party tools that we can integrate very, very easily. So if you have a commitment that you've made maybe to an APM like Dynatrace or something like that, and you want to keep using that in that space and use us for everything else, it's very easy to integrate those third-party alerts in. All of that comes together in one pipeline. It gets normalized. And based on that, then we're able to correlate across all of those domains. So we don't care if the events, the alerts came from somewhere else other than OpsRamp. All of them are first-class citizens when it comes to our ability to correlate them, our ability to do auto remediation on them, and our ability to do different kinds of escalation, whether that be generating an incident, sending notifications through email, SMS, or voice notifications, or maybe even sending a alert through a Slack channel or a Teams channel, or some combination of all of those things. And so at the end of the day, you've got a much smaller trickle of items that your team has to handle in order to maintain the availability of your environment.
And then, Mike, lastly, let's talk about the integrations, out-of-the-box integrations that we support.
Yeah, this is really important. So just how we provide all of that out-of-the-box knowledge of how to discover and how to monitor all of those different types of technologies that are going to be in a very diverse on-premise plus cloud plus containerized and, one of everything environments that we come across. We also have a suite of over 2,500. We probably need to update this slide to over 3,000 integrations that we support out of the box very easily, just with very simple configurations in our GUI. Usually it's a simple matter of just getting some credentials and plugging in a web URL that points to an endpoint where that particular technology we want to integrate with lives. And so all of these are there for you out of the box and very simply created. And on the off chance that we need to integrate with or monitor something that is not out there today, we have very, very simple mechanisms for extending these capabilities and letting you build anything custom that you need to, or our content team can take care of that for you, which we generally do as just a part of doing business. It's not a professional service or anything like that.
Great, thanks, Mike. So we've got 10 minutes left. Mike, I'm going to cut over to you on the demo. Can you share your screen, and we'll get into wrapping all of this into a live demo so you can see how this all comes together.
Okay, great. Is everyone able to see my screen? Jim, are we able to see the screen in the room? We're good?
I think we can see your screen fine. Yep.
Great. Okay. So just to highlight, I'm going to go through some dashboards very quickly to highlight that we provide visibility into all of these different technologies across private cloud, which would basically be your on-prem. So you see all these different vendors that are in the inventory of this small demo environment we have. Your multi-cloud assets across AWS, Azure, and GCP, all of the different types of cloud native objects that you might have out there and configure, we natively discover through their APIs. And of course, it's a little bit of special attention to network because network is always a little bit more special in terms of the attention you need to pay to it and the kind of visibility that you need into it. But we also have other dashboards that we can show that highlight the status of different services, the subcomponents within them. We can very easily add additional components to our dashboards. This is all coming from our own discovery and telemetry data, right? So we're able to see on one quick network dashboard, maybe that's been tailored for the network team, the critical interface statuses, the critical business statuses. I can jump into this and say, hey, there's something wrong with my data pipeline service. I want to see what's going on with that, and just click on it and immediately be taken down to a contextual view that's going to show me the business dependency and what is the component that's actually showing an error right now. And I can get more detail and granular information on that, right? All of these are clickable, contextual, very simple to do. Similarly, we have out-of-the-box curated dashboards for things like VMware. And if you want to add anything, you can just click and drag tiles around. You can add different kinds of metric and resource and alert tiles or a custom image to our dashboards. Or you can just point Grafana at us if that's where you already live today and you like using that. Once you have your entire environment discovered and onboarded, which we'll generally help you with and get you started, you'll have all of these different types of resources visible to you, right? Your Windows and Linux servers, your network devices, whether they're switches, routers, firewalls. You'll be able to see if you're an AWS customer and you're able to drill down into any of your AWS accounts and see all of those cloud native objects that are a part of that particular account. You can drill into those and see the individual instances, see all of the metrics that we're collecting on them. We have topology views, of course, for network, but we also have topology views for other types of topology. So like cloud native relationships, we can see what are the interconnections between all of the cloud native objects that are associated with this particular EC2 instance, for example, right? Or if it's a network device, I can drill down and see the individual connections between two switches. I can click on an interface and see what's on either side of that interface. I can drill down into those interfaces and view any of the information, whether it's metrics or inventory attributes or things like that, right? So all of the metrics are also immediately visible right here on the devices. We also ingest logs. We can ingest logs from our Windows agents, from Linux agents, or if you already have a consolidated centralized logging capability with something like our syslog Logstash, things like that, you can just point that consolidated source directly at a SaaS endpoint that we provide to you, and you're able to have us ingest all of that into your OpsRamp instance. Once that is all consolidated there, you can define filters across all of those different sources of logs that are now coming in. So if I just want to see maybe the MySQL logs, I can do that. Or if I'm looking at all my logs, I can see, hey, there's just a few errors in here. I want to focus on those and see what's going on. I can do that as well, right? Now, and these can be any queries that you want. In addition to that, we have an out-of-the-box understanding of how to configure and understand different log types. So out of the box, we know what those formats are, but we also allow you to define custom log formats. If you have a custom application with a special log format that we need to ingest, we can do that as well. In addition to logging on the metrics, you can log on different, you can alert on different logging conditions, right? And of course, being that we do AI ops, we have an alert console. It has a very simple search interface. You can save searches if you have a operations center that would be looking at a single pane of glass. You can curate a particular query or set of queries and save them for them to quickly jump into. And then all of these can also automatically generate incidents into your ITSM system, right? And you can drill right into those from there. You can view greater level of detail on these items, and you can also run all of these alerts through our correlation engine. As I showed you before, our model will train on the alerts in your environment, automatically correlate them, and reduce the noise. And so at the end of the day, you're going to see a massive reduction in the number of incidents that your team needs to handle. You're going to see a vast simplification in what it takes to manage and maintaining the monitoring tools that you have in your environment, because you're going to be able to reduce it. Instead of having 6, 8, 10 different monitoring tools, you'll be able to consolidate maybe entirely down to OpsRamp, maybe OpsRamp plus 1 or 2 other things. And so at the end of the day, that's your business value, right? Is the operational efficiency associated with reducing the incidents, increasing the availability, and possibly also doing a tools rationalization of, instead of paying for 8, 10, a dozen monitoring and alert management and discovery tools and log management tools that do all these different pieces and having to integrate them together, you can let OpsRamp do all of that for you, or bring it in for a piece of it, and then progressively over time we can very easily integrate with those other platforms and then incrementally take their places one at a time. So I am going to just quickly show you a list of all our different integrations that we have on this instance. And pause, and Jim, if you want to interject anything, I think we're just about at time.
Yeah, no, that was great. Thanks, Mike. Hopefully that gives you a good understanding of OpsRamp, the challenges that we're solving, how we solve it, and the platform that we have. Mike, I think that demo was great. Thank you. But would be happy to answer any questions or continue the conversation at another time. All good? Great. Awesome. Thanks, everybody. Appreciate it. Thanks, Mike.
Thank you very much.